I am Dr.G.BHUVANESWARI, Assistant Professor from St.Joseph College of Arts and Science, Cuddalore. Today we are going to see about the steps in planning process. So first let us see what is planning. So planning is ascertaining prior to what you have to do and how you are going to do it. So this is one of the primary managerial duty. So before you do something, the manager must form an opinion on how he or she has to work on a specific job. So planning is firmly correlated with discovery and creativity. But the manager, first he has to set goals, and the planning is an essential step what managers at all levels take. So it requires making decisions since it includes selecting a choice from alternative ways of performance. So these are some of the steps in planning process. So let us see them one by one. The first step is setting objectives. So the idea behind planning is to achieve a desired objectives. So the first step is to clearly define and describe the objectives of the organization. So firstly, the major objectives should be specified, and then they should be broken down into individual, sectional and departmental objectives. So these objectives are serving as a guideline for decision making in terms of resource allocation. The work schedule, nature of action, all these should be kept in mind when you set the objective. So all the efforts must be made to anticipate the problems and the relevant opportunities that are likely to arise in the future also. For example, an enterprise ABC Limited is opening their new branch for laptops. So first what they have to do is they have to specify the objective. That is whether how much they're going to sell, how much units they're going to sell in that particular year. And that should be double the previous year's sales. So for achieving this, they have to distribute their objective into various departments like production, marketing, sales and finance departments. So when they distribute the main objective into departmental objectives, the company, they will be able to face fewer problems in managing its organization. The second step is developing planning premises. So the next step in planning is to establish the premises. So planning premises are anticipated to environment in which the plans are expected to operate. So they include the assumptions and the forecast in the future and the knowing conditions which will affect the course of the plan. In short, these provide the environment and the boundaries within which the plans will be executed. So planning premises, it can be classified as internal and external premises, controllable, semi-controllable and uncontrollable premises, a tangible or intangible premises. So for example, the same ABC Limited company, they are setting their objectives to sell 3 lakh units of laptops this year. For that, they have to gather information by forecasting, because it's an important technique in developing the premises. So the enterprise, they have to set their objective after forecasting the increase in demand for the laptops due to work from home policy. So you have to have an accurate forecast. That is very important for successful plans. The third objective is identifying alternative course of action. So once you set the objectives and making assumptions about the future, the next step is to determine alternative courses of action. So through that, the organization, they will be able to achieve their objectives. So in order to identify the various alternative courses of action, it is important to collect all the necessary information from the primary source to the secondary source. So the information collected should be correct and it should be believable also. Once the information is directly and strategically related to that particular achievement of the desired objective, only then it should be considered. So for every plan, there are various options. So all the alternative course of actions should be identified. And for example, the ABC Limited, they should have an innovative way, so which can be adopted by involving the employees and the consumers in sharing their own ideas. So the company, they must have an alternative like decreasing the prices, increasing the advertisements or promotions or the after sales service. So even in important projects, the enterprise, they will generate more alternatives through discussion among the members of the organization. So next step is evaluating alternative courses. So after you identify the different alternatives, the next step is you have to evaluate each alternative. So evaluation means the study of the performance of the various actions. So whatever possible alternatives are there, everything should be evaluated, keeping in mind that their expected cost and benefit of to the organization. So you should compare among the alternatives in terms of factors, how much of risk is involved, the planning premises, what are the goals to be achieved. Even the positive and negative points of each alternative must be examined thoroughly. And after that, the planner should make a choice. So the company, they should evaluate all the possible alternatives and they should check all the positive and negative points. The fifth step is selecting an alternative. After evaluating the various alternatives, the next step is to select the most suitable course of action. So the basic, detailed and derivative plans like the policies, rules, programs and budgets, everything should be formulated, because the derivative plans, they help in the implementation of the basic plans. So most of the plans may not always be subjected to the mathematical analysis. So in such cases, the subject and the management experience, the judgment and at times institute, also they play an important role in setting the most suitable alternative. So many times combination of plans can also be selected instead of just selecting one best course. For example, the ABC Limited company, they can start TV advertisements, online marketing and direct contact with the MNCs also, so that they'll be able to increase their sales, as selecting the most suitable alternative will increase their profit of the company. The next sixth step is implementing the plan. So this step is concerned with transforming the plan into the action. So plan must be communicated to the employees, those working in the organization. It should be communicated in detail. So that will help them to secure cooperation from the employees. So you can also get useful suggestions from the employees, and you have to consider that also. And they should be motivated to execute the plan to the fullest of their ability. So the plan has to be effectively implemented by the real executor. So this step will also involve organizing labor and purchasing machinery. For example, the company, when they start hiring more salesmen in the company to contact and connect with more MNCs, the company will start creating more interesting advertisements on the online platform. So this will help them to establish more service workshops in various cities. The last is follow-up action. So after you implement the plan, the last step is to periodically review the plan which is existing. You have to ensure whether the plan is effective. So the plan must be consistently monitored, and if there is any deficiency, it should be modified and adjusted. So for that, a proper feedback mechanism has to be developed by that particular company, so that they'll be able to take all the complaints and reviews from their consumers, and they'll be able to provide a better service experience. So actual customer response, revenue collection, employees response, all these are very important for the company. So with this, I conclude the steps in the planning process. Thank you.